Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori is now officially a light heavyweight bout. Tony Ferguson called out Conor McGregor, so therefore Nate Diaz called out Tony Ferguson, so therefore Conor McGregor called out Nate Diaz. Makes no sense, we'll get to it in a second. Also, Josh Emmett versus Dan Ige has been announced, and also Alexander Hernandez versus Renato Moicano has also been announced. I thought I'd cover all of these topics in today's MMA news reaction video, starting with Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori being at light heavyweight, last minute curveball, changes the weight class. Of course, it was originally a middleweight bout because they're both middleweight top 5 contenders. Of course, it was a middleweight bout, but no one told Paulo Costa this, apparently, who came in so massively overweight. It was not even a funny situation anymore. I mean, it was hilarious, but then when you think about it, there's like a real problem here with how overweight Paulo Costa was. So they changed it to 195 pounds, which then became 198 pounds, which then became 195 pounds, and that was officially a catch weight bout they were going to have. And now it's 205 pounds because Paulo Costa can only cut 6 pounds. I mean, seriously, I respect Marvin Vettori beyond belief for literally giving Paulo Costa, and I'm looking at the weigh-in stare down right now, Paulo Costa is a solid 10 pounds bigger than Marvin Vettori here. I truly respect Marvin Vettori for taking this bout with Paulo Costa, despite Paulo Costa literally so obviously giving himself an advantage over Marvin Vettori by not cutting any weight whatsoever whilst being the much bigger guy out there, and he will be the bigger guy when they get in the cage as well. He weighed in, or he said he weighed 211 pounds. That was the official news. Paulo Costa weighs 211 pounds on fight week. He's not going to be able to make 185 pounds. So therefore, he can only cut 6 pounds. And the 20% remains the same. First of all, Paulo Costa said he didn't even want the 20% to be taken away. Unfortunately, that's not even his doing. He has no choice over that matter whatsoever. It should be 50% of his money given to Marvin Vettori at this point. He's cutting 6 pounds. 6 pounds. He's made the cut. They've both made the cut. At 205, Marvin Vettori said you already lost to the scales at the weigh-ins. He's got in Paulo Costa's face. He's put the middle fingers up as well. He's been very, very Italian at the weigh-ins. No problem there. That's the usual Marvin Vettori stuff, making a weigh-in very, very interesting, of course. If he's screaming at you, or if he's swearing at you, or if he's grinding his teeth into dust whilst looking like he's on cocaine against Kevin Holland, he'll do something weird at weigh-ins, but I mean, I understand Marvin Vettori's frustration here. He's cut 6 pounds. And apparently he's been banned from middleweight, and I hope he's been banned from middleweight, because this is just too much now. I don't understand what Paulo Costa's doing, but in Paulo Costa's mind, if he wins, what the fuck are they going to do? They're not going to do anything. If Paulo Costa wins and uses this massive weight advantage, and massive advantage in general, because not only does he have a weight advantage, but he's not going to have to dehydrate himself, which is the whole cost of having a weight advantage, I don't understand. But if he wins, and I'm sure he believes he's going to win this weekend, unless he doesn't, maybe that's what this whole thing is all about, maybe he's actually mentally broken here. But if he does win, and wins in spectacular fashion, he does kind of call the shots. He'll call out a guy at middleweight, and if they don't give it to him, the fans will kind of demand a middleweight bout between, who knows, maybe, I don't even know who there is at middleweight right now, to be honest with you. Sean Strickland's a free guy right now. Jack Comanson's free at the moment as well. There's not really many free matchups right now in the top 10 of the middleweight division, but if Paulo Costa wins in brutal fashion, I guess he's going to start calling the shots again. I think Marvin Vettori's got this one in the bag. I mean, he said it himself at the weigh-ins, you lost to the scale. That's a whole mental mindset going into a fight, and Paulo Costa, if anything, has shown massive amounts of mental weakness. Let's move on, because this whole weight situation is just doing my fucking nutting. So let's move on to a different situation here. Nate Diaz, of course, called out Conor McGregor. But before that, let's start at the beginning. Tony Ferguson called out Conor McGregor in a very Tony Ferguson way. And it's basically like the fucking Da Vinci Code here that we're trying to figure out. I mean, all I know is that he said, "Where you at, McNuggets?" That's what we had to cipher through all of his random emojis and words to know that he was actually calling out Conor McGregor. Of course, he posted a picture on Twitter. Unfinished business. Clashed swords. Sunglasses. Dash. CSO. Dash. That's champ shit only, by the way. I'm trying to really tell you, I'm not quite fluent in Tony Ferguson, but I'm doing my best to translate this absolute garbage. Champ shit only, dash, or colon, sorry, no dash, whatever, I'm done. Fucking Tony Ferguson's coded fucking tweets are impossible to read. American flag, trophy, Mexican flag, hashtag DJ spin that shit. Music signs, hashtag the Italian job. Why the Italian job? McGregor is not Italian. Oh, okay. I'm starting to... Wait, am I going to become as crazy as Tony Ferguson? Now I'm starting to understand him. The Italian job, because McGregor punched a DJ in Italy, allegedly. But it's more likely becoming truer and truer by the day. Even still, I understand the Italian job bit now. I didn't get that before. I thought he was only saying it because Marvin Vettori is fighting this weekend. But no, the Italian job. Makes sense. Moving on to another bit of Tony Ferguson's cryptic language of... I will just call him Ferguson glyphs at this point, honestly. Where you at, McNuggets? Let's just know that he's calling out McNuggets here, of course. Time -2 turtle ninja up. MFs, motherfuckers, of course. Glad most of you got the memo. Most does not have an A in it. And it's... A is nowhere near O on the keypad. So he's intentionally put A in there. But it is near S. Fair play. Maybe it's a typo. Maybe he doesn't actually think that's how most is spelt. Of you got the memo. Turtle blowing leaf. Dash CSO dash. American flag, of course, trophy. Mexican flag. Crew. Falling leaf. On -2-1. Full stop. We're getting into fucking... We're getting real technical here. This is real technical English language going on right now. Full stop. Some punctuation at last. And then a dash to open up the new sentence. Champ. And then boat emoji? Canoe emoji? Ferguson calls out McGregor, I guess. That's what that means. So therefore, Nate Diaz saw this information and thought to himself, hang on a second here. I'm not having McGregor getting called out. I'm the big money guy. So he goes and calls out Tony Ferguson by basically just posting a picture of him with the belt up in the air. But then again, what's happening with the Vicente Luque fight? Nate Diaz said they're not sending Luque a contract, or he's signed a contract for Luque, and Luque said, hey, send me the contract. So something's not right about that Nate Diaz-Luque situation. But then Conor McGregor bounced back to Nate Diaz calling out Tony Ferguson with a picture of him moments before or after he said, this isn't over. So that means he's talking about maybe finishing a trilogy with Nate Diaz. Don't know what's going on here. I wish one person would get called out and then just respond to the person who called them out, and then they would just make the fight. But we have to go around in a fucking ring-a-ring-a-rosy here. All good, though. Nathan Diaz calling out Tony Ferguson. Would love to see that matchup. January next year would be absolutely perfect. I just don't understand why we've strung along Vicente Luque. Luque could have been signing another fight by now to keep himself busy and active and have a better chance at earning his title shot in the welterweight division. But we've just held him up for no reason here and said he was fighting Nate Diaz, even though he's not really fighting Nate Diaz anymore. Like, I feel like Nate Diaz doesn't really want anything to do with Luque. I'm not calling Nate Diaz a bitch. I'm not saying that. Okay? But I feel like he called out Luque for the respect of calling out Luque, because, let's be real, the UFC would love to have Nate Diaz lose to Luque on the last fight of his contract. He doesn't seem like he's really into re-signing with the UFC. I don't see Nate Diaz doing that. I see him making a business move, going and boxing Anderson Silva at some point. Who fucking knows? Maybe Jake Paul at one point as well to make a couple of million. I don't see Nate Diaz re-signing with the UFC. And if the UFC's looking at him with one fight left on his contract, they would be dying to have him sacrificed to Vicente Luque. Give Luque a big name push, because he's not a big name at the moment, just like Leon Edwards wasn't a big name when before he fought Nate Diaz. Give Luque that push up the rankings, or push up the fucking value charts of popularity, and then get rid of Nate Diaz and don't re-sign him because he's just lost to Luque and all of your top guys. I feel like the UK was really, not the UK, the UFC is really desperate to make the Luque versus Diaz fight, but I don't even mind them making Diaz versus Ferguson. So make that one in January if Ferguson wants to be active. McGregor's probably not going to be back in there until March anyway, so if this means they're staying active, I'll take it, honestly. So Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson, maybe in the welterweight division. Then the winner maybe can take on Conor McGregor in April or May next year. Something along those lines, who knows, but I just want to see all of these matchups made, because as much as I feel like a lot of these guys are maybe over the hill, past their prime, don't really have it in them anymore to get back towards a title shot, I'm all in for fun matchups between big names, because I feel like press conferences, like, kind of make the fights themselves nowadays. I mean, look, Paulo Costa, Marvin Vettori, their little interactions has made this fight so much bigger than it was. Marvin Vettori against Israel Adesanya, that fight kind of meant kind of nothing beforehand, but Marvin Vettori made it mean so much by just acting like an absolute maniac at the press conference. I want good press conferences, so any of these matchups will do. Moving on to something else that's gone down, Josh Emmett has signed a fight with Dan Ige, which is very good. I like that one, but it isn't very good, is it really? People are saying, damn, it's a good fight. Two little tanks that hit like trucks. Banger. I'm a fan of this because it's a great matchup, and they're both similar in style, but Josh Emmett's, of course, hits a lot harder than Dan Ige does, but Dan Ige, of course, is a little bit more well-rounded than Josh Emmett is, in my opinion. But I don't like this matchup at all being made, I'll be honest with you. It's a great fight, and if it's the only matchup that could be made so they could fight at December, I'm absolutely okay with it, okay? But I just feel like we should have used Josh Emmett and Dan Ige separately against different opponents, like saying Dan Ige versus Ilia Topuria, move Ilia Topuria up if he wins, or give Dan Ige a big win and reset and get back in the win column. Josh Emmett versus Giga Chikadze could have also been made to establish a better contender with another guy who's on the rise in the division. But no, they've done Josh Emmett versus Dan Ige, which now means, and this is the sad thing about it, they're probably going to do the Korean Zombie versus Arnold Allen, which is good, really good, but that then means we're going to cancel out some of our streaking contenders here. Evloev, Chikadze, Ilia Topuria. One of them's going to have to fight each other. One of them is going to have to fight another one of them, and then we're going to lose one of them. And that's not really what I want, but then again, there is Bryce Mitchell there as well. But I feel like it should have been Bryce Mitchell versus Josh Emmett, Ilia Topuria versus Dan Ige, Chikadze versus Zabit Magomedsharipov, or the Korean Zombie, or Arnold Allen. Let's start moving these guys up the division, but never mind. Josh Emmett versus Dan Ige, I'm absolutely okay with it because it's been added to the December card, and that December card, with this added to the card, this December card is maybe the best card I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, it's not the best ever, but it's definitely up there, and it's definitely the best card of the year so far, in my opinion, at least the way it's going right now. Moving on to another fight that's been announced, Alexander the Great Hernandez versus Renato Moicano has been announced for the February 12th Fight Night card. This is a big one as well. Oh yeah, let me say who I think is going to win, Emmett versus Ige. I think Emmett's really old, and he's had a really bad spine surgery or neck surgery or something like that. I don't think he's going to be the same. And I think Dan Ige is probably going to pick this one up. I know Dan Ige didn't look too good against the Korean Zombie, but Josh Emmett's best win in hindsight is Michael fucking Johnson. Clay Guida beat Michael Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, and Clay Guida's good, still good, but like, Josh Emmett, Burgos, I guess. No, the Burgos win is very good, but then again, Burgos just lost to Barboza and kind of lost his chin a little bit, got hit by the phantom punch and then went down. I don't know, I just feel like Josh Emmett's not going to get this one done. Maybe he does, but he's been recovering from neck surgery, from knee surgery. I think Dan Ige being more active, a lot fresher, a lot less injured, a lot younger as well, is probably going to go out there and be well-rounded enough to get this one done. But Josh Emmett's very dangerous. You know what, fuck it, I'll go Josh Emmett. He's very dangerous, he's very good, and even on one leg he had that performance against Shane Burgos. People forget he actually tore his ACL out in the middle of that first round. So I'm going to go with Josh Emmett here, actually. I think I like his chances. He's just too damaging, and Dan Ige didn't impress me, although he is younger and well-rounded. I'm going to trust the best versions of both of them to show up, and I'm going to go with Josh Emmett if that does happen. Moving on to another fight, Hernandez versus Moicano, of course. Good matchup. I think, kind of a hot take, Hernandez could steamroll him here. And I know that that's Not a very popular take here, because a lot of people hate Alexander Hernandez because he dares to try and make fights that he's in exciting with the build-up. I know, everyone hates it unless they win. If they win, they're amazing, and they're dealing bullies their first loss, and watch how Hernandez deals with bullies in the cage, and all of that stuff. But because he lost and talked shit and tried to hype up fights of his own, that means he's now hated by everyone, because the only result that matters is the win or the loss, not anything beforehand or anything afterwards or actual the content of character at all. It's just if you win, you're the good guy. If you lose, you're the bad guy. Everyone hates you, of course. Now, Hernandez, Moicano. Great matchup. I probably will go with... Fuck. Renato's looked good on the ground, though, in this division, though. He's been taking people down. He's been doing real good work there. It's just his chin. Renato Moicano's chin. And he hasn't really been... well, he got KO'd by Rafael Fiziev, didn't he? But that wasn't really a KO. It was a bit of an early stoppage, and he did look like he was recovering. Do I believe that Hernandez has the stand-up level of Rafael Fiziev? There's a solid chance that Hernandez does go out there and just fucking steamroll him straight away, right down the pipe, looking for big shots, and somehow catches Renato Moicano. I'm going to trust Renato Moicano mixing in takedowns, moving a lot early with his footwork, knowing that that's what Hernandez is going to want to do early in this fight, to ease himself into this and maybe take the back of Alexander Hernandez in the third round and put in the rear naked choke. I'll go with Renato Moicano, but don't fucking get it twisted. Alexander Hernandez, I mean, he KO'd Beneil Dariush in the first round, and that was a shittier version of Alexander Hernandez. So, he always has that chance to lights out anyone inside the first 2 minutes of a fight. I just don't feel like he's going to do it against Moicano. And I feel like now the jig is up about Hernandez. We know what he's got. We know the tricks that he has. He's going to come out there bull rushing you in the first round. And when you know what your opponent's going to try and do, it kind of makes it a little bit easier to deal with and prepare for. So I'm going to go with Renato Moicano in the later rounds. But that's a great matchup as well. Really good fights. Also, Trevin Jones versus Raoni Barcelos has been announced for December the 18th on a fight night card there as well. Great matchup. They don't like Trevin Jones, or they think he's going to be special. I reckon Raoni Barcelos has got this one in the bag. Credit for Trevin Jones, though. Coming off a loss to Said Yakub Kakramanov, and now he's moving up and taking on Raoni Barcelos again. No easy fights for Trevin Jones. Very respectable, but I think this is going to be a bit too much for Trevin Jones here, and I think Raoni Barcelos gets it done. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.